All right. Welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. I am so excited to go through our online marketing bootcamp with you. Before we kick it off, I do want to say a huge thank you and shout out to our partners at RE Technology for working with us to put this on and bring it to all of you. We have so much great content today, so be sure to grab your notebook and grab a pen or pencil, and we are going to dive right in. So, my name is Brandon. I am a business development consultant with Elm Street Technology. A little bit about me: I grew up in Michigan and I'm living in Chicago now. And outside of my job at Elm Street, I'm also an entrepreneur, just like many of you on the call today. And I've been able to see firsthand how, when you really hone in on your online marketing with social media and email and everything we're going to talk about today, how it can make such a big difference in your business. And I'm super excited to share it with you. So, my goal today is to motivate you, inspire you, and to provide some practical tools that you can start to implement in your business starting today. But we do want to keep that education and motivation going. So, I invite you to connect with us on all our social media platforms at We Are Elm Street, where we provide a ton of great content, videos, educational series. So, if you want to dive deeper into the topics that we talk about today, be sure to follow us at We Are Elm Street. Now, guys, normally we travel all around the country and do live events with MLSs, associations, and brokerage offices. And it's a really fun and upbeat class that we do. And I want to keep it as fun and interactive as possible. So make sure you know where that team chat is, so you can drop it in there and answer any questions as we go through, just to make sure we're as interactive as possible. So the first thing I want to know, just question to everyone, is how many of you have some form of social media for your business, whether that be Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter? Go ahead and just type yes or no in that attendee chat for me. All right, I see a couple answers coming in here. Awesome. It looks like quite a few of you have it. So great. Great start to this. And then question that I have now is, I want to know, what if anyone's brave enough to share, what are maybe one or two of your biggest weaknesses when it comes to social media? What kind of things do you struggle with, either posting on your Facebook or posting on your LinkedIn? Maybe it's even Twitter or Instagram. Go ahead and just drop that in there. It doesn't have to be long, maybe just one or two words of some of the things that you struggle with. See some people putting in there the content. Yeah, content is a big one. Being consistent. Guys, my first two people that came through, those are the biggest ones that we hear. We call them the two big C's: content and consistency. And we're going to dive into all of those here today. But I also want you to think, we never want to start on a negative note. So I also want you to just answer to yourself, what are some of your strengths in your businesses? Are you great on having those one-on-one conversations, or great on the follow-up, making those phone calls? Write those down on a piece of paper and be sure that we can refer back to those as we go through. So let's dive in now to the top 5 platforms that we find agents just aren't fully utilizing in their online marketing strategy. And those top 5 are going to be your websites, email, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google. Now, platforms such as Twitter and Instagram, they are great, and you should especially have a presence on these, especially to connect with millennials, who are your first-time home buyers and sellers. But these top 5 that we have on the screen, this is what's going to give you the most powerful return as we go through this. And listen, I'll have agents tell me all the time, yeah, I have my Facebook and I have a LinkedIn, I think, but I don't remember what email address I used. Or I set up my Google page, but I don't know what account it's under. And I get it. It can be a lot of work, but the reality is it's not enough to just be on these platforms. You have to be active and consistent in order for it to make a difference in your business, and it will. So, with all of these, as we go through this, we're going to talk about how to stay top of mind with your sphere. And in real estate, especially, this top of mind marketing is so important. So, you're continuously staying in front of your network and your sphere of influence. And it's not just important to stay in front of them when they're looking to buy or sell a home, but we want to be in front of them even on those times that we're not. So we're staying top of mind and they're constantly thinking of us. And a stat that I recently came across that I thought was really interesting, and it came out from NAR, it says agents are only retaining 13% of their past business. And guys, this is what we call a leaky bucket. An agent spends so much time and money trying to prospect and gain that new business to get new clients to come in. But a lot of times they're spending very little on maintaining that long-term value of a client. So how do we do that? How do we stay top of mind? And the first thing is going to be one of the most basic platforms, one that we all have, but a lot of us are not taking full advantage of and leveraging for that long-term value of our business. And that's going to be email marketing. Now, question, go ahead and drop in that chat box. How many of you are creating email newsletter content to your database now? Either sending them out maybe once a month or whatever your consistency is. How many of you are actively sending out email content? Okay, I see quite a few yeses coming in, a few no's. That's good. Go ahead and keep typing those in there. So as you guys are typing those, basically email newsletters are a tool to share relevant and valuable information with your network of customers and even prospects. And a stat that many people don't realize is the average person checks their email 15 times per day. And these newsletters give you direct access to your audience's inbox, allowing you to share engaging content, but more importantly, driving traffic to your website. And also, as we know, major businesses are using email marketing because in addition to getting in their inbox, it provides companies with some key insights to the level of interest of your database, who's actually opening these newsletters, who's actually reading them. So a lot of value in here. Now, when we're creating this content, why is it important? Well, one, we want to brand you as the expert in your field. So when you're creating all of this valuable content, when people see that you are the thought leader in your industry and you're bringing all of this great content, they're going to have that trust that when they're ready to buy or sell a home, they know who to go to. And obviously, these emails, as they're coming through, they're going to go in people's inboxes. But we're also going to talk today the importance of sharing this content on your social media, so you have a linear delivery of the content and all of this expert information. So the goal of this is really we want to provide valuable information and increase that engagement to drive people to your website. So the question then becomes, well, okay, it sounds great, but what kind of content should I be putting in there? What kind of content is good content? Well, as we go through this first topic, probably not going to come as a shocker, but we want to include some real estate information in here. But before you just start creating newsletters about what content you think might be good content, I want you to first listen. Listen to your sphere of influence. What kind of questions do they ask you day in and day out when they know that you sell real estate? Probably some questions like, how's the market? Is it a buyer's market or is it a seller's market? Do I need to stage my home? Or what's going on with these interest rates? And if your sphere of influence is asking you, you can bet that these people are also going to Google and the search engines to type in those same questions. So it's content they're looking for all the time. But I don't want you to think you have to be just restricted to creating content about real estate specific. You can also create content about just lifestyle information, like financial advice or DIY projects, kitchen updates. Even if you have a famous family recipe when it comes to Thanksgiving time or whatever holiday coming up of the year, create that content. This is stuff that people are liking and sharing all the time on their social media. So it's content that they like. Now, when we're creating this content, we always want to make sure that these emails are branded specifically for your business. So we want to include your name, your photo, your logo, any contact information, and then also, very important, links out to your social media profiles. Now, I want you to remember that last part about these social media profiles because email marketing is the best way to push traffic to all of your websites and your social media platforms. So, in addition to the content that you're writing in the email, it's also important to add some supporting information. And a lot of times when I see agents providing content on their email database or on their social media, generally I see agents posting one thing, and it's new listing, open house, sold. New listing, open house, sold. New listing, buy with me, sell with me, I love referrals, sold. And it's important to post that content, of course, but we also want to make sure we're posting content that is relevant and valuable to everyone in our database. And the reality is, if we're only posting content about our listings or looking for referrals, the reality is most people aren't looking to buy or sell right at this moment. And for your sake, someday they will be, but most aren't right now. So when we're creating this content, we want to be posting value-based information, content that's never recycled, it's fresh, and it's content that's related to the services that you provide, not always just sales-oriented, trying to get a quick deal or a quick conversion. Now, when we post this content, we want to try and make sure as much of it as possible is self-branded, meaning it's content you're creating. And I know that that's not always possible. You can't always create your own content. But if you're grabbing content from other sources, you do want to make sure that it's related to what you're talking about. So I'll give you an example of this. If you're creating a newsletter about refinancing or adding value to your home, you want to provide a variety of information on maybe like home improvement projects or interest rates, maybe the do's and don'ts of putting in a pool this spring. You want to make sure that any of the content is complimentary and it's branding you as the expert. Again, your clients expect you to be the expert in this field, so prove it to them. And as we're going through this, a couple of the examples we also have here on the screen is if you're an agent that specializes in working with first-time home buyers or investment properties, luxury markets, vacation homes, when you're creating these newsletters and contents, tie that back to you as an agent so they remember what it is that you're specializing in and you're that thought leader. Now, in addition to these newsletters, I also want to talk quickly about holiday cards. So, question to you guys, go ahead and drop this in the chat. How many of you currently send out holiday cards to your list? And that can be either virtual or in person. Go ahead and just drop yes or no. And I'll say typically when I work with agents and I ask this question, almost immediately agents respond yes to me because they know it's something that they should be doing. But deep down, a lot of them know that they're not always following through with it because, to be honest, it takes a lot of work to get these organized and sent out. And it can be a huge point of stress for someone that's wearing 100 other hats and they simply just don't have time to put it all together. So I see quite a few of you guys are sending these out. That's great. I love it. This is huge. And I'm sure at one point or another, you've probably felt pressured or even fallen short maybe of getting all of your holiday cards out. Does that maybe sound familiar to some of us? A lot of times we'll do Christmas cards and maybe some of the big holidays, but miss out on some of the other ones. But these holiday greetings, as simple as it might be, this is a major way for you to be remembered and to be valued. And Zig Ziglar said it best. People do business with people that they like, with people that they know, and with people that they trust. So sending these out doesn't have to be anything over the top. Don't overthink it. You guys don't have to send out any holiday cards for like a National Pizza Day or something like that. But the holidays we have on the screen here, these are going to be one of the some of the most popular ones. And it's going to make sure that you're more than just an agent, that you're actually a friend to your audience. Now, with all of this email marketing, I do have a couple of guidelines that I want everyone to make sure they're abiding by. When it comes to email marketing, the frequency that we want to try and aim for is a minimum of 2 times per month. And we say 2 times for a specific reason. We want to make sure that you're in front of your sphere of influence, in front of your clients, enough for them to remember you, but not too much where it seems spammy. Remember, it's about being consistent, not being constant in their inbox every single day. And I know some of you on the call might be thinking, oh God, I get email content all the time from XYZ, and I just end up going in there and deleting it or never paying attention to it. But the reality is, when you're sending this content out to your client base, you're sending it out to people that you know and people that are looking for this content. There's a lot of big companies out there that do email marketing, but a lot of them are doing it wrong. They're sending it out every single day, trying to make a quick deal or to get people to take advantage of a quick promo code, and they're not providing value that people are actually looking for. So these people on your list, these are people that you've maybe either done business with in the past. It could be maybe someone you met at your kid's soccer game, or even just a random person you met at a car dealership. But these are people that are looking to connect with you and to hear what you have to say as a thought leader in the industry. So, for example, if I was sending out an email about any of my new listings or market updates to everyone in my database, that kind of example, that's where you're going to get a lot of people to unsubscribe, especially if I just bought a house from you and I'm not even looking for one right now. That information's not relevant and it's not valuable. So when you think about this content you're sending out, I want you to make it less about you, and I want you to make it more about the clients. They already know what you do, but they're looking to get this information. Now, in addition to the frequency, we always want to make sure that we have photos, because that's going to increase the click rate. And then we also want to have a call to action that's going to increase that lead capture. Now, this call to action can be a subscribe button, it could be a contact me button, or even simply just a link to learn more that takes them to your website or social media, but some way for them to connect and continue to receive your content moving forward. And then the big question becomes, well, how am I going to drive engagement? How are people actually going to start to see my content? Well, I don't want you to keep these newsletters or this content just residing in the inbox. I want you to take any of this content you're creating and also share them to all of your social media platforms. Facebook and LinkedIn are going to be the most popular ones. That's where you're going to get the best response. But by sharing this specialty content that's supporting information in your newsletter, you're going to do a few things. You're going to increase that SEO, because Google's going to value a piece of content that it sees shared across multiple platforms. You're also going to reach a larger audience, because each of these social platforms generally have a different demographic. So if you think about that, Facebook and LinkedIn, those demographics are very different. On Facebook, this is a lot of your friends and family that you're connected with, whereas LinkedIn is going to be your professional network, a different group of people that you're connected with for totally different reasons than you may be on your Facebook page. So, and remember, when it comes to this content creation, we want to have a cohesive message across. So if you're sending out those emails, we want to make sure that everything on your social media platforms where they may find you has that linear narrative, bringing you so much greater value and visibility. So I want to pause here for just a moment, and I want to see if anyone has any questions about anything we went through so far with email marketing. And guys, as we go through this, we will have these Q&A sessions after every section or two. So if you think of questions while we're going through, feel free to type those in the chat. I'll scroll back and see if there's any of them that came through before this, and I'll make sure to get them answered. And don't be shy. There are no dumb questions. I want you guys to get as much great information out of this. And if something doesn't make sense, let me know and ask some clarifying questions. All right, looks like we might be good for now. If anything comes through, I'll hop back to them. So the next thing I want to dive into is Facebook. Now, as we know, Facebook is the #1 social platform on the internet today. It has close to 3 billion users, and over 70% of these users are logging in 6 to 10 times per day for an average of 13 to 20 minutes each visit. I know I'm certainly guilty of this. I'm sure maybe some of you are too, but this is a lot of time to spend on Facebook. So we want to have our presence here. Now, the first thing I need to talk about when it comes to Facebook is having a business page versus a personal page. So go ahead and drop in the chat, how many of you have a Facebook business page for your real estate business? And as you're dropping that in there, I want to talk just a couple benefits about these pages. First of all, with business pages, they have lower privacy settings, which means I don't necessarily have to request you as a friend in order to see your content. It's available to everyone. There's also great tracking and data analytics, so you can see what's going on with your posts. And then also ads and boosting, so you can reach an audience of people that aren't yet following your page. Okay, going through the chat here, quite a few of you do. Awesome. Business only, great. One note I'll add to this, if you don't have a business page, your homework for tonight is get that business page started. Technically, you're not allowed to do business transactional type posts on a personal page. And if Facebook finds you doing this, they can actually throw you to a place called Facebook jail. Sounds silly, sounds made up, but it is a real place. They'll suspend your account and you don't want to have to deal with going through getting that all back up and running. So to avoid this, we always want to make sure all of our content originates on our business page. And then you can always share that content from business over to your personal to get all of that information in front of your sphere on your personal page, but make sure it always starts on the business. Now, when we're posting on our Facebook page, just like with our email marketing, the key to success is consistency. We want to be posting on here about 2 to 3 times per week, but we don't want to be posting just any information. We want to be posting information that's relevant and valuable. So if we go back to the example I was talking about earlier, a lot of times when I go to agents' Facebook pages, it's generally the same thing. The new listing, open house, sold, all of that content that's trying to get business, but may not be providing actual valuable or relevant information to your sphere. So what kind of stuff would be good stuff to post on our Facebook page? What would fall into that value-based category? Well, in general, I want you to think, does it motivate, inspire, inform, educate, or entertain? That's kind of what would classify as value-based. So the first thing I want you to think about is, what about all of that content we were just creating on our email newsletter? Any of those articles about DIY projects or financial advice or any real estate related articles that support what you're going after, all of that content is great to post on Facebook too. Now, when we're posting any of this, we want to try and make sure as much of it as possible is self-branded, meaning when I click on it, it's going to take me to your website and keep me under the umbrella of your business. A lot of times I'll work with agents and they'll tell me, yeah, Brandon, I'm posting some articles to my Facebook page, but when I go on their Facebook page, they're posting them from sources like Inman News or HGTV, maybe Keeping Current Matters, or even Zillow. And if I click on that article from Zillow, it's going to take me over to Zillow. And guys, that's the last place you want to send me. By sending people over to Zillow, you're building their SEO, branding them as the expert, and driving business away from you. And listen, big companies like Zillow, they have entire departments that are dedicated to creating this content. It's free content, it's good content, but their goal is that you're going to share it, and one of your followers will click on it. Zillow's going to capture that lead and then probably sell it back to you next month as a zip code. But when you post these articles self-branded from your website or your email newsletter, it keeps everyone with you. So the general breakdown that we want to do when we are posting this is at least 50% self-branded. You can still use articles from other ones that support, but 50% self-branded. Okay, so what else should we be posting? Well, review campaigns are going to be a huge benefit to your business. When an agent relies on repeat and referral business, asking for reviews is a must. And don't be afraid to ask. I want you to think about the last time you finished your ride with an Uber or a Lyft. What's the first thing they ask you right after you finish your ride? They ask you to rate it. And there's a reason for that. They want you to give a review, and they're specifically asking. So as real estate professionals, we need to be just as diligent to make sure that we ask for those 5-star reviews, because people are looking. Be diligent about using your social media to have consistency with your review status. And then and with these reviews, guys, you can do reviews on your Google business page. You can do them on Google, Yahoo, Yelp. We'll talk a little bit more about those later, but these reviews are crucial when it comes to relevance in your online search. The next one I want to talk about are subscription campaigns. So remember, we talked about the best way to increase your engagement with email newsletters is by sharing them to social media. So now that they're on social media, let's try and get everyone to subscribe to that newsletter. If they like the content you're posting and they want to see what you're putting out as a thought leader in the industry, you simply by asking them to subscribe is just as important as asking for the review. And if they're on their Facebook page, they want to see your content. In addition to subscription campaigns, posting trending content. Just like we touched on earlier, posting current, relevant, and professional articles that brand you in the crucial day right now with all of the digital information that we have. So the first ones that we talked about, this is all really business-related information, but I want to also talk about posting photos and videos. Photos and videos are going to have 40% higher engagement than text posts alone. And the reason for that is because if I follow you on Facebook, I want to see a little bit about you. I want to see your smile. I want to hear your voice. Zig Ziglar said it best: people do business with people they like, know, and trust. So use these photos and videos to showcase maybe what you're involved in the community, or maybe what your hobbies or your interests are. I have an agent of mine, and she always posts about her 2 fur babies, her 2 Dalmatians. And those posts on her Facebook business page get some of the highest engagement. I think probably 85% of her business clients or followers on her page are other dog lovers. They come for the dog pictures, they feel connected with her with that, and they stick around for all of the real estate information. And then next one is Facebook Live. Facebook Live is the #1 way to increase engagement on your page. How many of you, go ahead and drop in the chat, how many of you have done Facebook Live before? Whether that be just maybe a community event that you're at, or maybe talking about one of your listings, going live on your Facebook business page, something related to business. And as you guys are typing that in, I want to just talk about maybe some examples. So with Facebook Live, you have the opportunity to interact with people real time in whatever event it is that you're doing. So if you've never done a Facebook Live event before, a great way to get your feet wet with this is maybe next time you have an open house, about an hour or so beforehand, go live on your Facebook page. Give a tour of the property, maybe talk a little bit about your business or the community information. But think about how powerful that is. I could be at my kitchen table on a Saturday morning just drinking my coffee, and I can actually be at that open house with you. And the great thing about Facebook Live, it's interactive. So if I wasn't able to make it to your live open house event, I can comment on there and say, hey, can you show me the backyard? Or go back to that master bedroom one more time. I want to see what the closet looks like. So this is for people that maybe aren't able to make it in person. Maybe they live out of town. Or nowadays, there's even people that are a little bit nervous about being around crowds of people, but this is their opportunity to see the property. More homes have been sold sight unseen over the past 3 years, and Facebook Live is a huge part of that. Now, if you're going to do this with Facebook Live, What I recommend is when you're posting that you have an upcoming open house, maybe on that post, let them know, hey guys, I'm going to have my open house this Saturday. In person starts at 11 a.m. But if you're not able to make it in person, I'm also going to go live at 10 a.m. So if you're interested, join into my live event. I'll be able to answer all of your questions, show you the entire property, and answer any questions that you may have. So all of these things that we just talked about, the newsletters, review campaigns, subscriptions, Facebook Live, photos and videos, all of this is tapping into the number one tool that you have at your fingertips, and that's top of mind marketing. Being the first person that people think of when they're ready to buy or sell a home. And isn't that the name of the game in real estate, right? Marketers say that you need to be in front of somebody 25 times before they'll do business with you. 25 times. I know if you've ever done mailers before, you know that you would go broke trying to get in front of somebody 25 times just to get their business. But the good news is, where are people 6 to 10 times per day for an average of 13 to 20 minutes each session? They're on Facebook. So be in their news feed and provide value. That way, when they are ready to buy or sell, you are the first name that comes to mind. If you can crack that code, you will be very successful in your real estate business. Okay, so let's move on to the last one on here, which is listings. The way you market your listings brands you as an agent, and what better way to get exposure to your listings but by putting them on what gets the most traffic and activity on the internet, social media. So when you post your listings on here, there's 3 ways that you should be posting your listings. You should be posting them with photos and videos on your Facebook page. You should be utilizing Facebook stories because this is where a lot of people are spending their time. And then you also should be posting on there links that take them back to your website so they can see maybe more pictures, find out more information about the property, maybe search for some similar properties. And I know social media isn't necessarily where people are intently searching for real estate. They're not logging onto Facebook to try and find a home, but it's where your sphere is. And this is the number one opportunity for you to brand yourself. So adding any of those listings or even listing updates, if you have a price reduction or a sold, putting those on here is going to add so much value to your business as a whole. So I'm going to pause here for a minute and see what kind of questions we may have. I know I asked a couple yes, no questions in here. Let me scroll back and see if there's anything that came up. If you have any questions, drop them in here now. A lot of you guys are using your Facebook business pages and a few with Facebook Live. I love that. Okay, it doesn't look like any questions came up so far. If you think of any, just like before, go ahead and drop them down in the chat, and I'll be sure to get those answered by the end of this. Okay, so let's move on to LinkedIn now. Remember, it's not enough to just have a presence on Facebook because each of these platforms has a different demographic, and LinkedIn's no exception. I like to call LinkedIn the silent powerhouse. And the reason for this is because the algorithm that we have on LinkedIn is kind of like Facebook was in its glory days. If you post something on LinkedIn, all of the people that you're connected with are going to see this information. It's not like on Facebook where it's only based on how much they interact with you or if it's related content to what they're looking at that day. All of your connections are going to see this. But the best thing about LinkedIn is that it has super high SEO. And what I mean by that is if I were to Google anyone's name on this call today, chances are your LinkedIn profile is going to be one of the first things that pops up. And that's whether you're active or not. So you need to put your best foot forward here. Most buyers and sellers are referred to 2, maybe 3 different agents before they decide who they're going to work with. And you can bet that they're going to do their homework. They're going to do a Google search of the agent before they pick up the phone to call them. And if I'm doing a search and I find one agent who hasn't posted anything on their LinkedIn in maybe 2 or 3 years, and I find another agent that is posting actively and consistently about everything going on with their business, personally, I'm going to want to work with the agent that is posting actively and consistently. Now, content that we're posting on LinkedIn is very similar to content we would already be posting on our Facebook business page. We want to be posting about those real estate articles that are related to the industry or what we specialize in, if we're luxury or whatever type of clients. We want to be posting any of our listing updates, if we have a new listing or a price reduction or a sold. And we also want to be posting, maybe you have market reports that you add to your social media. Adding this business related content is going to show to your prospective clients that you're an expert in the industry. As far as frequency, 2 to 3 posts is what we want as a minimum. We want to make sure we're constantly remaining top of mind. But LinkedIn is also a totally appropriate place to brag about yourself. Maybe you got an award for being Agent of the Month or for doing something great in your community. Showcase that on your LinkedIn profile. Show everyone what it is that you're up to. And one more thing I want to touch on with LinkedIn. A lot of times when I work with agents, they'll say, Brandon, I'm on LinkedIn, but it seems like the only people that ever really want to connect with me are other agents. And why in the world would I want to do that? Well, I'm here to tell you, there's far more benefit to connecting with other agents than not, because LinkedIn is the #1 agent-to-agent referral platform on the internet. #1. And let me give you an example of this. I have a good friend that I work with who's an agent, and before the pandemic, he moved from Chicago down to Miami. And when he moved down there, we were talking, and he was super nervous about moving down there, was practically starting fresh, didn't really have a book of business or anyone that he knew. And around Christmas time, I had lunch with him, and I was asking him, how's business going for you? I know you were so nervous moving down there, didn't really know many people, were kind of starting fresh. And he said he's doing better now down in Miami than he was before. And LinkedIn is a huge part of that. What he did is he reached out to all of the agents that he was connected with up in Chicago, sent him a message and said, hey, I just moved down to Miami. If you know of anyone looking to move down here, refer them my way. And if I know anybody looking to move from Miami up to Chicago, I'll send them your way. He has gotten probably 60% of his new book of business that has come from referrals from all of these agents that they're not going to make the trip down to Miami to show a property. They want to send them to somebody that they know and maybe somebody that they've worked with before. So I want you to think about, who do you maybe know in the general area that you work that maybe wouldn't want to make the drive of an hour or 2 hours or however far it may be to show a property, but you may be able to send referrals back and forth. This can be a huge opportunity, but if you're not active on LinkedIn and posting about your content, you won't be top of mind, and they may forget that you're there in that area. So before I move on to the next one, I see question came in, what has to be on Facebook as far as fair housing? What do most sites have to have? So on Facebook for fair housing, if you are posting about any listing specifically, and you're targeting a specific demographic of like gender, age, income level, or specific area, those kind of things can get denied and a post can be flagged on there. So a lot of this is going to come from the comments that you may have in the MLS. And when agents post those comments in the MLS, they know that it needs to follow this specific guideline. A lot of times, if you're just sharing that listing from the MLS, it will be okay. But one thing I'll caution you on is if you're creating ads or you're doing a boost of one of your listings or one of your posts, on there, it's going to ask you if your boost or ad is related to real estate. And if it is, it's going to make sure that if something goes against these fair housing laws, it'll give you a little red flag or an error message that you need to adjust something. If you're creating an ad or a boost, after you do that, you'll submit it. And if anything goes against either Facebook rules and regulations or against fair housing laws, they'll actually deny that before it goes public and let you know what needs to be changed so you can make those updates and then get it posted so it actually goes through okay? That was a great question on that. All right, so let's move on now to your website. Your website is the central place that you can be found on the internet. But a lot of times when I work with agents, unfortunately, some agents will tell me they get no traffic and activity to their website, while other agents say that it is a lead generating machine. They get a ton of hits, a ton of views on it. So I want to touch on some of the differences and why that might be that some agents are rock stars and some aren't doing so great. So the first thing is that we want to make sure that our website is a client resource, somewhere where people can go and maybe get a mortgage calculator or a free analysis, and also where they can go to potentially search the entire MLS, find all of the properties they're looking for, and never have to leave your website. We always want to make sure all of our websites are mobile responsive because over 90% of home searches begin on someone's cell phone. When we have our website, we want to make sure it's also portable, which means it goes where you go and grows as you grow. Now, I know a lot of agents have a broker provided site. And if you're an agent that has a broker provided site, that's okay. You can definitely use that. A lot of times it's free or included. But we recommend you have your own independent website that's portable because studies show that every 4 to 5 years, the average agent changes brokerages. And I'm not saying you ever will, but if you were to move to a different state or decided you wanted to change brokerages, what do you think would happen to all of that content that's on your website? Unfortunately, you would lose it. What do you think would happen to the CRM that's connected on the back end? Unfortunately, you would lose it. And also, if you're relying solely on that broker provided site, there's really not much that sets you apart from everyone else in your office or even area. You know, you might have a prettier headshot or a better bio, but essentially the setup of these is exactly the same. And if you don't set yourself apart, clients aren't going to see you apart from other ones. Now, when you have your own website, you do want to make sure that it is integrated with a CRM. So any leads that you have coming in flow right into your CRM that's protected and on the back end. And you also want to make sure that you have MLS IDX search. And IDX simply just means Internet Data Exchange, but somewhere where people can go and they can search the entire MLS and only ever find you, find similar properties, maybe sold homes, everything that goes on in the area. So really, we don't want our website to be just an online billboard that has our contact information and talks about what it is that we do. We want to make sure it's a resource that our clients can find everything they want and need right there. But how do we get more traffic and activity to our website? Well, we want to tie it to what gets the most traffic and activity on the internet: Facebook, social media, emails. So your online marketing really starts with your content that you're creating and the integration with social media. So at the top here, you have your website. And then within your website, you have those real estate articles, you have your newsletters, you have all of that content that you're creating and sending out. And we take all of that content and we share it across our social media platforms. But I want you to notice on the screen here, where is that all pointing back up to? It's pointing back up to your website. And we call this linking and backlinking. So taking one piece of information, your articles and your newsletters, sharing them across multiple platforms that drive traffic back to one central location. This is absolutely huge for turning your social media from a toy into a powerful tool for driving that traffic, building leads, and building business. So everything we went over so far with social media, the key points that I want you to take out of this is content creation. We want good content, as much of it as possible that's self-branded. Consistency, 2 to 3 times per week posting on social media, and a minimum of 2 per month for our newsletters. And then lead capture and having systems and processes to follow up with those leads, having a CRM in the back end, having a way to capture all of it. So everything we've been talking about today is so necessary for building that top of mind marketing, building your brand recognition across these platforms, and being a client resource. But I want you to also think about this. Other than my sphere of influence, how can I be found online? With over 90% of all home searches ever being done online, I want you to ask yourself, what do I even look like if someone were to Google my name? Would I even be found? Would I maybe come up with a past profession, something that I'm not doing anymore? Or I know there's a lot of real estate agents in my area. Would I even show up on page 1 of the Google or Yahoo or Bing search? So all of these questions are crucial to know and to stay on top of in today's industry. So I want to dive into what this says about you. What does Google say about you? And how does that even work? So this slide is kind of just a funny one that I wanted to put on here. Your online presence is as foundational as your physical business signage. So if we look at some of these Brody Mart on here, the sign on the building is kind of burnt out and it says Die Mart. Town of Hillsdale just has LSD on there. Dynasty Buffet is Nasty Buffet. And Elmhurst Hospital is I'm Hurt Hospital. So if your signage isn't matching up with your actual business, it could potentially create some issues for you. Now, over 80% of emerging consumers are more digital now than they were pre-pandemic. And I think we can all agree with that. You know, a few years ago, if I encouraged my mom to buy something online, she would have looked at me like I was crazy. She never wanted to put any of her information out on the internet. But now, fast forward to 2023, you couldn't pay her to go to the mall. She does everything online. She orders her groceries. She orders her anything she might need from Amazon, clothing, anything is all online because really the consumer world has changed and real estate is no exception to that. And even the way that we search has changed. So before, a lot of times, if we would go to Google and do a search, we would search by keywords, just single keywords. But now, as we know, we do more asking questions than anything else, whether it be that we want to go somewhere or know something or buy. We even interact with different services across our search journey. Sometimes we search on Google. Sometimes we ask Alexa if our hands are tied. Sometimes we go to a business's website or even just search from maps on our phone. So knowing this and knowing that in order for your business to be online relevant, we need to make sure that we have value in these search engines, and Google being the #1 platform and search engine to worry about. So on Google, I don't know if you know this, but Google's mission statement is actually to organize the world's information to make it readily available and useful for everyone. So thinking of that, your local ranking factor ultimately comes down to 2 things to Google for how you're going to show up. First thing is going to be distance. Guys, this is just like it sounds. Oftentimes, Google would rather show where something is than what something is. So whether you have a new location or you operate in certain business areas, we always want to make sure Google knows exactly where we are and that it's accurate for when people are searching. The second thing is relevance. How related is the business to what somebody's searching for? Maybe someone's searching for buyer's agent in Tampa, or real estate agent who works with military families, lenders who do pre-construction loans, etc. We want to make sure all of this content is most up to date on the business profile. And then also prominence. How well known is a business? And is it, oh, sorry guys, I just saw someone lost me. Paula, if you go ahead and refresh the page, it should be fixed for you. So last one that I was talking about, prominence, how well known you are. And Google considers prominence as 1, the number of reviews that you have, 2, your average rating, and 3, the consistency. So let's dive a little bit deeper into our Google business page. Went too far there. First, I want everyone to drop in the chat. How many of you have a business profile already set up in Google? Whether that be something that you set up yourself, or maybe you partnered with somebody to help you do it before. How many of you have that business page set up for your real estate business? Perfect. I see yes, a lot of yeses coming through. I love it. So your Google business profile is a simple but effective way for you to have all of your business readily available to the public for people who are looking to buy or sell in your market. On this Google business page, it's going to showcase things like your business address, the markets that you work in, hours of operations, phone numbers, and most importantly, your Google reviews. This is all going to be displayed clearly and totally organized, so no one has to search for all different spots to find it. Now, if you've never set up a business page yet, I do want you to take a picture of this slide. This is the step-by-step of how to do it. So first thing you need to do is create a Google account. If you have a Gmail, you already have that. Second, you're going to go to google.com/business, and you're going to create the page. Now, when you create it, you oftentimes will want it to be either your name and then real estate, or if you're on a team, putting that on there. But you're going to create the title. You'll add any additional information, such as the services you provide, hours of operation, all of that good stuff. So your future clients and prospects can easily find all the info about you. And then the final thing is to verify your Google business profile. Google will ask for a mailing address, and they're going to send you a postcard with a verification code. Once you get that postcard, you're going to enter it into Google, and you can verify that, so you will have full ownership of this. So like I said, take a picture of this slide. When you follow these steps, if you go to the google.com/business, everything I just went through is step-by-step on there. But also, I can put my contact information back up at the end, so you can reach out to me. Or if you need further assistance, go ahead and just drop "help me" in the chat, and I'd be happy to follow up with you after the call. Now, another question I have for you is, how many of you have a plan for asking for Google reviews on that Google business page? One thing to note about the Google profile is it's a great place to showcase these reviews. Like we talked about earlier, don't be afraid to ask for reviews. In fact, with Google Business, you can even send a direct link to your clients, and they can click on that link, go right to your business page to add it in. But your profile on Google will be the first thing that people see when they search for you online. So having others brag about you on here definitely does not hurt. So guys, on this one right here, a stat that I want to put in front of you, and I want you to really let it sink in, is 73% of high intent traffic starts online with your brand. So think about that for a second. If your brand accounts for 73% of the traffic, when things don't match up, or when one of the listings, your Google listing, says this and another one says this, and it's not consistent with what your Facebook profile says, how confusing would that be to your clients? So this is that when a business online profile is complete with your hours, reviews, photos, and relevant information, consumers are 197% more likely to view that as a business that they can depend on. So to just kind of go through and uncover some opportunities, I want you to answer a few questions to yourself. With your online business, do you potentially have inaccurate listings? For all of these different profiles, potentially an incorrect phone number or an incorrect address. If that's the case for you, we need to take control. We need to go through and get all of those updated. Are you missing in any of the search results? Does Google actually know who you are? If the answer is no when you do a Google search, we need to start to drive more traffic and activity to your site so you start to show up there. And the third one, Are you not standing out? Are you maybe on page 10? And the answer to that one is we need to build your brand. We need to start to make sure we have a cohesive way for everything to be found or discoverable. And with all the things we just went through, I want to just give you a quick example. So with this example, I want you to imagine that you're asking 10 random people where a particular restaurant is. And you ask them, okay, where is Goodfellas Pizza? You ask person one, they say it's at 144 Orchard Street. Their phone number is 212-432-3200. Perfect. You ask the second person, they say the exact same thing. You ask people 3 through 10, and every person says the exact same thing. That's going to give you a lot of confidence that this place is located at this address, and this is their phone number. Now, I want you to also imagine now, what if you asked those same 10 people, one person said, what, are you talking about Corner Mart? Yeah, that one's at 144 Orchard Street. Or you ask the second person and they say, I don't know, I think 144 Orchard Street is where the corner store is. You ask another person and they say, I don't know who that is, I've never heard of them. When you ask all different people or you ask different platforms and there's different information, this is going to create low confidence. So the bottom line is your online profile matters, your reputation matters, and I want you to think about all of this that we went through as we head into the new year. So guys, I recommend take a picture of this slide. Our clients call this the moneymaker slide, and I want this to be your goals for 2023. I want you to confidently be able to say for 2023, I'm going to have a safety net for my web presence to catch all of the traffic that my marketing is going to generate for me. Number 2, I'm going to be consistent with social media and provide content several times a week so my sphere of influence will never forget me. That's 2. Number 3, I'm going to keep my sphere of influence informed on a bi-monthly basis with an email newsletter that's going to brand me as the expert in all things home ownership. I'm going to ensure that my online reputation is going to reflect the 5-star agent that I am. And ultimately, I will never lose a client to a competitor. If you're doing all of these things we talked about today, these goals will be a breeze for 2023. So now that we're to the end of the education, I want to ask a question to everyone. How many of you agree, go ahead and type this in the chat box, how many of you agree that online social media marketing is essential for your real estate business? Online and social media marketing is essential for your real estate business. Love it. Okay. Seeing yes coming through. We're on the same page. Okay. Did a pretty good job this hour. Now, second question is, how many of you are going to leave here and you are going to start doing all of your email newsletter content, creating the blogs, posting on social media, LinkedIn and Facebook 2 to 3 times per week? So question again, how many of you are going to hop off of this call and you're going to start creating this content, sending out newsletters, posting 2 to 3 times per week on all of your social media? Saw one yes come through, a couple people maybe saying no. And if you're too nervous maybe to say no, that's okay, I get it. The reality is, when I work with agents, a lot of times they're excited about this, but there's some things holding them back. And you don't have to answer this in the chat box, but I want you to ask yourself, if you are maybe a little bit nervous or don't think you may be able to do this hopping off of here today, some of the things that I want you to ask yourself is, well, what holds you back? Sometimes for agents, it's the time. They understand that it's important to post all of this, but they also feel that their time could be better spent doing other things, creating deals, talking to their clients, working with their contents. Other agents may say it's the interest. I realize this is crucial, but I don't want to learn how to do all of this. I don't want to create my business page, and I don't want to be going through and updating all of this. Or other agents, it might just be the expertise. I realize it, but I still, even after this hour, I don't know exactly how to do all of this. I don't know how to do this step by step, and I don't want to spend 5 hours trying to go through and learn more in depth how to follow through with all of these strategies. So if you're thinking of one of those options that you love it, but you don't want to be the one to do all of it, I got some good news. Elm Street Technology does have an all-in-one done-for-you solution where you set it and you forget it. We can take care of everything that we talked about today on the call. If this is something that you're interested, I invite you to stick around for a quick demo to go through all of it. This is the end of the education portion, but I'll run through kind of what it is that we have to offer. And then we do have some great discounts today for our webinar, so be sure to stick around until the end. So we created an all-in-one solution that allows you to no longer be a vendor manager of hiring one company for this, one company for that. And this all-in-one platform creates top-of-mind marketing to increase repeat and referral business, so you never have to worry about social media or online presence again. Now, the product is called OutboundEngine, and a few stats about OutboundEngine. We've worked with over 100,000 customers and counting. And out of those 100,000, we have over a 97% customer satisfaction rate. Now, because our business is doing things with your online reviews and your online businesses, very important that we have great reviews too. And as you can see on the screen here, our customers have spoken and they absolutely love it. So the first thing we're going to do for you is to create all of your email content. Everything is designed with a goal to make you look like the expert and thought leader in your industry, so that people within your network remember your name. We're going to provide content that's going to be relevant and engaging. So home ownership news, financial advice, home decor tips, you name it. Twice a month, we're going to provide content branded to you that your audience is going to love. These emails are branded specifically for your business, including your name, photo, logo, contact information, and links to your website and social media profiles. So our newsletters go out twice a month to all of your contacts. Again, not overwhelming your clients too much. And most agents are concerned that their clients are opting out of email campaigns. But guys, I want you to know the content that we create, we have less than a 1% opt-out or unsubscribe rate, which tells you that people love the content that we're creating. In addition to the content that we're writing for you in each of these newsletters, we're going to post additional articles enforcing these same topics, and we're going to share those articles on not only your website, but also your Facebook and LinkedIn. So we create fresh, never recycled content that's designed to be related to your business, but not necessarily sales oriented. We're not just trying to sell them on something. All of that content we're going to create, we're going to, like I said, also post to your social media. We're going to keep your social media updated every 2 to 3 days to create a consistent, active, and comprehensive presence. Like we talked about earlier, if you don't have the time, interest, or expertise with social media, we're your personal assistants taking point on all of these sites. If you don't have a Facebook business page or a LinkedIn profile, we'll help you build them. We are going to turn you into a social media rock star. Another one of our services that we provide is automating 6 different holiday cards electronically to your entire database and sphere at strategic parts of the year, and making sure that we're networking and making sure that you don't have to be the one planning which holidays are going to get the best engagement, who am I going to organize and send my list to, spending time creating all of them. We've got you totally covered. I know for me, I sent out Christmas cards last year, and I certainly wish I had someone to do all of this for you or for me. And then once we've captured their interest with an email or a social media post, we need to make sure that when your clients reach out to you, they can do so on whatever device they're using. So we're going to create a mobile optimized website that's going to be branded to you with all of your content in one centralized hub, which is going to include lead capture on every site. With all that traffic and activity coming to your site, we also have our live chat feature where our team, powered by real people, engages those leads for you. This is a great way to qualify and engage with them further. And to help with your future conversion with the lead, we're going to automatically send a full transcript of that conversation to your email inbox. Now, as we know, speed to lead is crucial. So being able to have this live chat feature with immediate response is going to make such a huge difference with your conversion. Now, if you already have a website that does all of this, no problem. We aren't replacing your site. We're simply creating an opportunity to capture the traffic our content is going to create and hosting all of your relevant, updated content for your visitors to find. The other thing that we can do for you is we can bring IDX functionality to your website if you don't have it already. So basically, we customize a search box with your branding directly to your website so that your contacts can search for homes without ever having to leave your site. This is the entire MLS right on your website. And with this, you can also draw more attention to your listings by having featured listings or any specific properties or areas that you specialize in. And with having Listings Pro, we're also going to track the interactions. We'll let you know via email automatically when someone shows interest in one of your properties, and your clients can search freely and privately from your website and only ever find you. Also, remember we talked about earlier how reviews are everything when it comes to repeat and referral business. But to be honest, as busy agents, sometimes we lack the time or sometimes even feel a little bit funny requesting them. So we also offer a streamlined way to incorporate online leads into your business. So with this optional piece, you can, with a click of a button, ask for a review on any of the top sites like Yelp, Zillow, Google Business, and recommendations on Facebook right when your clients are the happiest. We'll even feature your best reviews on your website for everyone to see what kind of real estate agent you are in real life. Now, this integrates directly with these platforms, so no additional manual work for you. And then remember, we also talked about how important it is to have a pulse on your prospect's current home situation and upcoming leads. So 4 times a year with this platform, we're going to send out a $500 gift card sweepstakes where we're incentivizing your entire database to answer a few questions. So the question is going to be, how likely are you to buy or sell a home in the next 6 months? So this is going to act as a heat indicator for every participant's needs over the past 6 months. By doing this, it also does 2 other critical things. It helps keep their contact information up to date, and it will also prompt them to send any referrals your way. Now, with this, we supply the prize, we automatically send that out. You do nothing, we take care of all of this for you. And then the big question is, I know this is important, but how do I know if the platform is actually working? So we're going to build you a performance dashboard where you're going to see exactly that. We're going to alert you when someone starts paying attention to your content. And this is a powerful tool to help you know who you should be reaching out to right now, who's interested. You'll see how all of your campaigns are working with real-time feedback of everything that's being done for you. And this is also accessible in the cloud, so you can log in from anywhere, knowing all of the recommended actions. We'll let you know right away what you need to do with both an email notification and a push notification. Because remember, what you can't manage or what you can't measure, you can't manage. My best clients with this, they absolutely love it because they're never in the dark about how they're performing, and it lets you know who to call in your database instead of just kind of guessing who's actually interested right now and who's not. Now, I know when you look at this database, it might seem a little bit overwhelming. It kind of looks like a lot, but don't worry. On your onboarding call, our customer success team will help align with what your current marketing strategies are. We'll help set goals for you, and we'll even help you get all of your contacts out of any platforms that you have right now. And we will import them into our dashboard in an easy, user-friendly way that you have everything all in one place. But I don't want you to think the support ends at the onboarding call. You'll actually work with a dedicated account manager on an ongoing basis So you'll receive regular check-in calls to check in, see how you're doing, make sure you're reaching and attaining the goals that you want to set, so we can make sure that you're happy and successful. Each of our packages comes with our mobile app right for your smartphone. So you'll be able to reach out to the right people at the right time right from this app. Now, we do have templates already in there, so you don't have to create the responses. We have them for you that you can edit if you want to, or just send. And this app also has a business card scanner. So if you meet someone, you can simply scan their business card and they are automatically added right in here. You'll get all of your warm lead notifications. And what I want you to remember is we do all of the marketing for you. All you need to do is your job. You need to write the contracts and you need to negotiate the deals. And one more thing I want to show you on here, remember how we talked about with all of these platforms, Google Business, Yahoo, Yelp, how it's so important to have correct information across multiple platforms to increase that confidence. Well, we have the ability to see exactly what you and your business looks like on all of these sites. We're integrated with over 70 sites. And if anything doesn't match up or anything is pointing to a different business or a different location, we're going to update all of this for you. We're also going to prevent any unauthorized change. So we lock in all of your business profiles and make sure no other agents or no other competitors can go on there to make changes. Also, if you have any changes to your office hours or address, it's so easy with this profile reach to publish any updates right from one place, and they're all going to go to all 70 integrated profiles. So guys, what we found with professionals in your industry is that after they reach a certain tenure, they work heavily, if not 100% on referrals. But a lot of times they do it the wrong way. They become what we call vendor managers, where they have their CRM here, website, social media content. And to be honest, it creates chaos. So with our Outbound Engine, we handle all of this where everything works together, has one cohesive look, one look and feel with a single password to get in on the back end. And if you only take one thing away from this, driving a real relationship with your network, having a real open line of dialogue with everyone will always make you a better real estate agent, period. So with Outbound Engine, we have 3 plans that you can choose from. We have our Essential Plan, Value Plan, and Premium Plan. So our Essential Plan is for somebody who wants to just do the social media, have their business page and email marketing with up to 500 contacts. Normally, our Essential is $199 per month. But today for our live webinar, we have that discounted down to just $149 per month. With our Value Plan, this covers everything in the Essential, plus up to 3,000 contacts, plus our $500 gift card referral program, a custom domain, and automating your business cards for you. Normally, this is $299 per month, but today have that discounted down to just $249 per month. And then lastly, our Premium covers everything we covered in the first 2, plus the online listing management I just spoke about, and online reputation management to take care of building and featuring your online reviews, making sure everything matches up with up to 10,000 contacts. With the Premium, this one has the biggest discount today. Normally this is $499, but today that's discounted down to just $349. If you want to add Listings Pro to have that MLS IDX search, we can totally add that on a la carte. With all of these plans, they are a 12-month partnership, and then they go month to month after that. So as a reminder, these prices are available only today for our online webinar. If you're interested in one of these platforms, go ahead and drop in either what plan specifically you're interested, or if you're not sure, go ahead and just type in there, I'm not sure, but I'm interested, and I'll reach out to you right after this call. If you know what plan, it's super quick. We'll get you set up. We'll even schedule your onboarding appointment right over the call. If you're not sure, no worries. If you drop in the chat that you're interested, I can still lock in this pricing for you. And when I give you a call, we can chat to see what option might be the best for you. So if you want to take a quick picture of that slide of what what options we offer, we have essential, value, and premium. And then the last thing I'll leave everyone with is this. If you scan this QR code, or if you type in this specific specific URL in your internet browser, this is going to bring up a search where you can type in your business, and we'll show you exactly how you look on all 70 of those integrated platforms that we work with. So you type in your business address and phone number. We're going to show you how you're showing up on Google, Yahoo, Bing, Yelp, Apple Maps, every single platform that we integrate with. And I want everyone to do this if you still have time. It's really eye-opening to see all in one place how you're showing up to your customers and what information you're putting out there. So to scan the QR code, if you open up your camera app, it'll come up with that little banner. You click on that, type in your information. And I'll leave this one up on the screen here. I'm going to pause for a minute and see if anyone has any questions about the products that I went through or anything that I went through on the educational portion. I'd be happy to answer them here. Or like I said, if you need additional help, we can set up a time outside of this to do a one-on-one, go through everything, answer any questions, and get you set up. So Joyce, interested, but just Facebook, is that possible? So if you didn't want to have it connected to your LinkedIn, you could do that. I would highly recommend that you have it connected, just because this is one of the number one places that potential clients are searching and pulling up. But it would be possible to do that. We could do it just to Facebook. Why don't I'll put your name down, Joyce, and I'll reach out to you right after this, and we can talk a little bit more in depth so I make sure I understand your question okay and see exactly what it is that you're looking for. But good question. How long does it take to get started? We have this up and running in just 1 to 2 weeks. So we schedule your one-on-one onboarding call. After that, within just a week to 2 weeks, you'll be up and running. Let's see if there's any other questions on here. Cost, we went through that, Rick. So again, guys, if you're interested in this pricing, I do need you to make sure to drop something in the chat so we can lock it in. Even if it's just something as simple as, I'm interested, I want the discounts, I'm not sure what package. Or if you do know what package, I'll put this slide back up one more time for you. The 3 packages that we have are Essential, discounted down to $149, Value, discounted down to $249, and our Premium has over $150 off per month today at $349 per month. So I want to thank everyone again so much for joining the call today. Another special shout out to RE Technology for your partnership on this. We really appreciate all you guys do. If you have any questions, I will stick around on the call here for a little bit. I can answer some questions down in the chat, and I'll make sure we get all of those answered before I hop off. I am going to turn my camera and my microphone off just so you don't hear me typing away on here, but feel free to stick around, ask any questions, or decide what option might work best for you and drop it in the chat. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.